Ah, Wii Sports, the game that broke everyone's TVs when bowling. Of course, it's not just known for that, it's a game that brought the entire family together, as it was pretty much bundled with every Nintendo Wii that was bought. I for one fondly remember going round to families' houses or them coming round to us for a game of bowling, as it was great fun. But bowling wasn't the only sport. This was Wii Sports. In this video, I'll be taking a trip down memory lane as I take a look at the different games bundled with Wii Sports, in addition to the follow-up games Wii Sports Resort and Wii Sports Club, although I'm only going to briefly talk about those since they're entirely different games. Now, if you're interested in the music side of things, I did a collaboration with the Shonen Gamer where we performed the Wii Sports theme, which you're hearing right now in the background. A link is in the description, or you can click the card on your screen now to check it out. Anyway, without further delay, let's get into the video. 2006. When I looked at this date and realised that was 15 years ago, I was blown away. I mean, that makes me feel old, because in 2006 I was 7 years old, and I'm now 22 when making this video in 2021. Ugh, growing old. Now, obviously there are people much older than that, but still. I vaguely remember getting a Nintendo Wii along with Wii Sports as a kid, and wow, playing that classic game was just amazing. Alright, enough reminiscing, let's boot up the game. Ah yes, that classic Wii Sports theme. This is probably one of the most famous themes in video gaming history. Yeah, I don't know about that, I don't really have any solid evidence to support that fact, and I most certainly don't want to hunt that down. But what I find amazing is how after you enter the game, you're given this piece of music. Honestly, I think this piece is one that most people thought, give us back the main menu. Then again, I doubt many people really played the game for the music, they played for the sports. So, what did you get? On Wii Sports, you got tennis, baseball, bowling, golf, boxing, and some additional stuff, fitness and training. But we're here to focus on the main sports, so let's of course start with tennis. Right, tennis, a game that involves swinging your arm around rapidly to hit a ball. There's more to it than that, I know, calm down tennis fans. Anyway, take this inside in front of a TV in a small living room, what could go wrong? Of course, this is one of the major faults/complaints about this game, was that it was dangerous. And that joke at the start wasn't really a joke for most people, in that a lot of TVs were actually broken. And people. Yeah, to a point where Satoru Iwata, the president of Nintendo at the time, rest in peace, actually had to make a statement to basically ask people to chill out, since of course this new thing, the Wii Remote, was actually a new concept. People were actually swinging and releasing the remote, or just hitting objects or other people. So, yeah, in response, a stronger wrist strap began to surface. But hey, what can you expect with this new technology? And keep in mind, this was 2006. Anyway, back to tennis. So, choose from a single game, best of 3 or best of 5, and literally press A, then swing the remote as if you're using an actual tennis racket. Keep doing this and there's the game. Of course, you could connect another 3 controllers and all play against each other. In reality though, this was pretty much the game. Although with other actual people and not AI, this was a lot more fun, because really, all of these games on your own would get a bit repetitive and boring, which again is why you'd often play against family or friends. Baseball. This game is a bit more involved. Switch between pitching and playing, and much like tennis, when the ball approaches you, swing your Wii Remote and hit the ball at the right time. This will of course set the ball flying. And that's it. You once again don't really get any more control than this, as you can't control these characters in a normal sense. They run and move themselves. Now if you're on the pitching side, swing your Wii Remote and throw the ball at the other player. Now you can press either A or B in a specific way to change how the ball is thrown. Because here's what's interesting. This game has a bit more strategy to it, as your goal is to get the other side, the one you're pitching to get an out, and for you to make it around the field and score. But in the end, baseball is fun if you're into it. Bowling. Ah yes, I wouldn't be surprised if this game has the most amount of plays. As with all the other games, you can play by yourself, with family or friends by using 4 controllers, or 2 controllers, as this was one of the benefits. You didn't need 4 controllers. 2 could be passed between 4 people, and so could 1. Only for some games though. Tennis for example would require multiple controllers. The controls once again are quite simple. Use the directional arrows to move left and right, or press A to switch to a rotation mode, once again using left and right. Then hold down B, pull the remote behind you, then swing forward and release B. Not the controller of course. Then watch the ball fly down the alley. The maximum score here is 300, and you can of course get strikes, spares, splits or gutter balls. Golf. This is probably one of my favourites. Where I'm not an avid golf fan, it's probably one of the only sports I'd say I have a slight interest in. Anyway, with golf you get everything you could want. A selection of different difficulty holes, up to 9 in this game though, and yes, you normally would have 18, but remember, you're still getting 9, which is quite a lot. Once you're in, you get all the selection of clubs you could want: driver, iron, wedge and putter. You also get all of the rules of golf, including the scoring system, out of bounds, water hazard, bunker, and in addition, you get wind speed and direction. It's pretty advanced for 2006. Simply direct your player using left and right on the directional arrows, then use up and down to choose the club. Then hold down A, swing the Wii remote and release A. And there you go. Keep in mind though, you can swing too hard and too soft. Again, it's pretty advanced, even for the year. And on top of that, the scenery is beautiful and probably my reason for liking this sport so much. Right, and finally, on to the last one. Boxing. This one I think got the least amount of plays. Well, in our house at least, but here we go. Now this one actually requires the use of the nunchuck, and no, not the weapon. Although these absolutely hurt if you get hit by them. Anyway, you simply use both the Wii remote and nunchuck to punch away at the other player or AI. Well, normally you would if I could get my controllers to work. You see, I may be using a Wii U for this. Sorry, I didn't have a Wii around. The Wii remote and nunchuck I'm using is the original one from about 2010 when I think we got our Wii. So in this footage, you're pretty much watching me lose, since I just couldn't get it to work. But it's fine though, I'm not blaming anything here, as when I do remember playing it, there wasn't any issue. Not that I should have to be trying to sell this to you, but anyway, hopefully you still get the point, as the aim is to reduce their health bar and knock them out, where they must remain down for 10 seconds. You have 3 rounds to try and do this. And that's it. That's all the games. So let's talk about the game in general. General thoughts. I think it's safe to say that Wii Sports holds a special place in everyone's hearts. It doesn't matter how old you are, if you mention this game, you're bound to spark some nostalgic memories of that game to most people. And I for one flash back to being a kid and playing this game either with my sister, or with my parents and sister, or other family members. And where I'm sure most people may look at this game in general and think, yeah, but it's boring, or it gets boring. Of course that's a fair argument, but it's not about that. The point of this game was to bring friends and family together to enjoy a game, and so it did. Although it's sad to say that today, in the modern day, most people have just grown up and moved on from it. And what's even more sad is, because there isn't a modern version for the Switch, there's some younger people who will never have experienced this game, and probably never will unless they see it on the internet. And where I'm not going to turn this video into begging Nintendo to make a Wii Sports for the Switch, although it would be nice, I hope that this video has at least shown any younger viewers how amazing and fun this game was. But if you're an older viewer who does know and has played this game, I'm also hoping this has sparked some nostalgic memories. I know it did with me playing the game again to make this video. And as I mentioned, where yes I did use a Wii U to make the video, but that was mostly to capture the game easier, I think it's fair to say that even by today's standard, this game still holds up and would absolutely be a lot of fun to play even now. Follow-up games. As for the other games, Wii Sport Resort and Wii Sports Club, these were mostly seen as a sequel and remake respectively. Wii Sport Resort included a whole bunch of new games, including swordplay, so duel, speed slice and showdown, wakeboarding, frisbee, disc golf, archery, basketball, table tennis, power cruising, canoeing, cycling and air sports, which was including parachuting, dogfighting and island flyover. These followed the same kind of Wii Sports gameplay, using the controller to play the games. However, this game introduced something called the Motion Plus, which allowed for a greater movement recognition, which allowed the additional functionality in the games listed before. This was actually an expansion that attached to the bottom of the controller. Wii Sports Club was basically a HD remake of Wii Sports for the Wii U. However, it added online multiplayer, support for the Motion Plus, and uses a club system to allow players to communicate with other players or clubs over Miiverse and compete against each other. The only issue I have with this was you had to buy passes to play the games. However, you could buy the entire game in one go, or buy a day pass. I don't have as many memories of Wii Sports Club as I'm sure many others don't since, well, we all know how people feel about the Wii U. Anyway, those were the additional games, so let's move on to the conclusion. Conclusion. Wii Sports being 15 years old is already crazy in itself, and where I'm sure I could have turned this into a retrospective history video, I mostly just wanted to take you all on a trip down memory lane in the hope that I can bring back some nostalgic memories, and of course celebrate the fact that it has been 15 years. And also bring to light what this game is for anyone who's too young to have really experienced it. But all I can say is that I'm really glad that I did experience this game. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please leave your feedback down below as there's always room for improvement, and please share any of your stories or memories down below as I'd love to read them, or just share what you thought of the game in general. Also, as I mentioned at the start, if you're nostalgic about the music, then feel free to check out the collaboration I did with the Shonen Gamer. A card should be on your screen now, or you can click the link in the description below. Before you subscribe, please feel free to check out the rest of my channel first as I don't just make this type of video. Thank you once again, and I hope to speak to you in my next video. Goodbye for now.